Look, what we have here in the United States is I think, profound lack of clarity. And just saying that it's clear, as the current SEC keeps saying, hey, it's clear, but at the same time, they're forced to say, hey, is Ether a security? And they won't answer that question. If it's clear, answer the question. The SEC, I think, should be, in really the government in the US, I think, should be trying to foster, this is a massive new industry growing, fintech broadly, certainly, but within that, blockchain and crypto. And I think we want that to do well in the United States. The UK, Japan, Singapore, I mean, there are clear regulatory frameworks. They've done the hard work to create those regulatory frameworks that has allowed investment capital, that has allowed entrepreneurs. And you're seeing a lot of entrepreneurs that may have started here in the US move because they need that certainty.
All right, guys, so that video right there, I showed you all to quickly let everybody up to date on how confusing it is right now in the crypto landscape between what is good, what is bad, what is regulated, and what kind of falls between the two lines of nobody really knows and, well, you should have known, but you can't really. Well, one of the main guys who often talks about the specific Ethereum Gary Gensler issue, which Brad Garlinghouse just mentioned, is John Deaton. John Deaton is a very, I'm going to call him infamous lawyer in the Ripple v SEC/XRP, whatever community. And guys, I am fortunate enough to have a chat with him tomorrow, and it's going to be an interview that's going to be posted on this channel. There's two exciting things. One, I'm going to be showing my face in this interview, and two, you guys can put some questions down below. I'm going to pick the best questions out, and they'll be asked to him. So make sure you put a couple of questions that you have for John in the comment section down below, and you can basically ask about Ripple, XRP, anything about lawyer stuff, I guess, but try to keep it around Ripple, XRP, and this specific lawsuit, which to a lot of us doesn't really make a lot of sense. I honestly think John is the best person out of all to ask because he's involved in a deeper level than the majority of us, as he's basically become a friend of the court, as it's called, amicus curiae. Now, one of the things which he posted literally yesterday, literally coincides as well with what Brad Garlinghouse was kind of throwing up there. Why won't Gary Gensler admit today's Ethereum is not a security? Or at least, why not make clear exactly how they came to a definition of what Ethereum should or shouldn't be? Because if they say it's clear, then how come we can't figure it out, and how come nobody really knows exactly how this stuff works? A brief little thread providing the answer. And by the way, if you own Ethereum, you won't like the answer. Then again, remember guys, he is not against Ethereum, it's just really heavily biased against everything that's not Ethereum, I guess. And so that's basically what he's put up here time and time again. And I think partially that's also what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. Basically how it could be that Ethereum got themselves this upper hand. It just really doesn't make a lot of sense. On April 23rd, 2018, Gary at MIT, then former CFTC chairman Gary Gensler says there's no regulatory clarity in the digital asset market, and for Ripple and there needs to be clarity in the market. Sounds like a decent fairness argument. Yeah. But despite Gary Gensler declaring that there was no clarity in the market for XRP or ETH, he is coming after all of crypto. Why should ETH holders be concerned? He was well aware of Ethereum Joseph, Chris Dixon, and the secret meetings with the SEC for an ETH free pass. In the video below, Gensler scoffs that a group of venture capitalists that went into the SEC and how they're sort of saying, believe us, we get you, we're with you. SEC, but we have a bunch of clients who are going to evolve to be a consumable token. Moving on. Gensler says, I kind of don't think this is going to work. He doesn't think of a token can start out as a security, but later develop into something different. Those are the words of our current SEC chairman. Maybe that's why he still hasn't read Hester Peirce's Safe Harbor. So I'm not sure if it's this video exactly or a different video, but he basically says he doesn't believe that if you're once a security, eventually you can become a non-security. Where Hester Peirce basically suggested that you can, as if you're starting out a cryptocurrency, usually there's like a foundation which has a really extremely high percentage of everything for the cryptocurrency. But as time moves on, it becomes more and more decentralized, which basically makes it a non-security anymore. Now, that might take some time, though, and she basically put up, let's put a little threshold of 3 years. If you're still not properly decentralized after 3 years, we're going to come and tickle your little butthole. Otherwise, yeah, you're good to go. In the video down below, Gensler states, the market needs clarity, and that the uncertainty as to whether Ether is or is not a security It could exist for months, but at some point in time, it is worthwhile to settle that down or have it fall into the courts. Listen yourself. You can listen for a little minute and a half if you want to. If you hate Ripple and dislike Brad and Chris Larson, you would be a fool to support the enforcement action against them if you believe any other token, or believe in any other token rather than Bitcoin and Ether, I guess. Now, one of the things which I also find fun is if you actually check out Gary Gensler's Twitter, which I do every now and then, he very often talks back about how this enforcement, for example, is needed for this or that reason. It's just something a little bit funny. Let's check it out. For example, if we go to his Twitter right now, what's the last thing he's posted? Hey, enforcement is one of the fundamental pillars in achieving the SEC's mission. One pillar is the policy framework, the laws set by the Congress and the rules enacted by the Commission. But you've also got to examine against those laws and rules and enforce those rules. Imagine football, yada, 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 right? It's just basically about the fact that nobody gets it, and they say, well, make rules instead of enforcement. And he's like, yeah, I could, but enforcement is good. All right, moving on, because we got to kind of keep it moving, you know? We can talk about that for 15 hours a day, but we'll talk tomorrow with John about it, and we'll see what he's saying. We'll get a couple of nice insights, and I think it's going to be a wonderful little chat. So one of the things which I think is extremely important, and I've called this out a couple of times, is this major upgrade that's happening. Over time, we will see the NFT market broaden, says Ripple CTO David Schwartz. And one of the things which they're talking about here is obviously how Ripple is now basically itching more and more closely towards an NFT realm. Ripple may be a bit late to the NFT party, but the XP Ledger will attempt to become an industry game changer and challenge Ethereum's hegemony, I'm not too sure. Now, I've stated before, I think this is good from the development perspective. We're going to see a lot of developers move over. Could help for additional features on the XP Ledger too. This is good from the knowing perspective. I mean, Ethereum is doing so good because of all the activity on there. So, NFT projects can help with activity and making it better. It's bad for spam/troll. That's two-sided. Spam in the sense of spam transactions on the XP Ledger is going to drastically increase, crowding it up more, which is definitely not good. We saw a little issue with that before. And second of all, obviously, as you guys can get, we're just going to get more of a troll community where people are looking for instant and quick yields in the same sense as we saw it right now, where people are all speculating basically around these XRP airdrops, XP Ledger airdrops. I think a lot of the NFTs and XP Ledger airdrops are both just crap. So honestly, not too excited about it, but indeed, they could change the game with this. So it's just a matter of perspective. And now, why am I putting this up right now? Because we've seen quite a lot of announcements in this little ballpark the last couple of days. Let's see here. Just came out 7 hours ago. NFTs can now be tested on the XP Ledger as Ripple X releases an NFT DevNet, so we're making the first steps towards that direction. And so it's really becoming a lot more serious right now, and it, of course, deserved my attention from that perspective as well. Moving on. All right, I got to put my timestamps in. Sometimes I forget that. And remember, if I don't put in my timestamps up front, it takes me about 3, 4, 5 times as much to do it afterwards. So I try to do it while I'm recording. Little Live in Lofter said, "You'd think you can hurt me. I've been holding XP for 4 years." And that was a little personal thing. I don't know what to do with this exactly, except for, I just wanted to read that out loud and get my grievances out there. Then Quentino shared this over on Twitter, and I think it's also interesting. WTF, here comes the masses for the pre-ISO 20022 pump. Ashton Kutcher sends Ellen $4 million in XRP donated from Ripple. He invested into Ripple 3 years ago. Now, this specific video is from, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that. I think 2017 somewhere, where he basically goes on to DeGeneres show, Ellen DeGeneres, and he sends her $4 million for charity. I don't really know exactly what to fetch from this except for saying there's most likely quite a lot of people that we don't even know about that are either invested into Ripple or very, very excited about it, that are in the background of things. But also, you got to remember for yourself really carefully here. These guys, they're fundamental pieces, and they have shown something right now, like in Ashton Kutcher, for example, years before. Yet people are only starting to find out now that this has all been happening. And again, people have forgotten about this. And that's why I'm showing you here. Not because it's new, but just because it's been forgotten. The backing that this company has and the fundamentals that it has. And here's another one. I didn't actually check this one out, but somebody says here's another. That was a great moment. So was this XP the Standard, XP for Good. I didn't check it out, unfortunately. I kind of forgot to actually listen to it. But I'm assuming he also talks about XRP right there in some sense. Because I think that maybe there was another XRP sort of donation. And again, it's been commented here that was about 4 years ago. But yeah, it was still a pretty big deal, if you ask me. All right, then let's quickly add some more XRP stuff before we move on. 240 million XRP shifted by Ripple and this leading global exchange. Yeah, once more, not that big a deal. You need to know about him because maybe somebody's gonna dump like crazy one. It might maybe see it beforehand, but at the end of the day, we can't really know exactly what this means. So I'm just gonna kind of let this one slide and say we don't know, so we don't care. It could be literally just an exchange moving some money around. It could be anything. If you're going to look it up, there's like, 4 billion Bitcoin moved today. Dollars worth of Bitcoin moved. Okay, wow. What does that mean? We don't know. It could mean 1,001 different things. We know that Ripple is transferring some because one of their wallets was used, but that could be for a ton of different reasons as well. So it's so hard to really use this data. Could XRP cryptocurrency double again in 2022? That is something which I want to talk for a little bit more than a second, which is, yes, I think so. Not financial advice, but hear me out. If we get a settlement this year, which again has been delayed a little bit, which is a bit rather annoying, there's definitely a high probability that XRP's price will at least double. I'm putting double because that was the question asked at the start. I think way more than that, though. And so, is there a high probability of the lawsuit ending this year? Yeah. So, is the probability of XRP doubling this year high? I think so. So, yeah, I think so. I think so. And last but not least, what happened to Bitcoin? What's going on with that? Bitcoin death cross 2022. What you need to know about the deadly signal. I'm actually going to make a video about that tomorrow, about exactly what I think about this, because I've told you all before, I like to do Bitcoin updates on here because I still believe that Bitcoin is like the centerpiece of everything crypto. However, I've noticed when looking at what you guys like and what you guys subscribed for, I noticed that whenever I do an update on the market, or Bitcoin specifically, people are not really that interested in it. Which I understand. If you're an XP holder, you're more likely to like XRP news rather than Bitcoin. But you guys gotta understand, whatever happens to Bitcoin is most likely one of the major factors into the XRP price that's outside of the lawsuit. And so it's actually really important to focus on what Bitcoin does as well, to basically see where your investment is going to go on the short term, if you ask me. So an update on that is going to be coming out tomorrow. Maybe I'll kind of mix it up with some altcoins, though, to make it a little bit more juicy in terms of crypto news, so a couple people might enjoy it a little bit better. Having said that, put your questions down below for John Dean that we can ask in the interview tomorrow. I think it's going to be really exciting. And hopefully I'll see you guys there, all right? I am pretty excited for it, as you guys probably know already. I'm not sure if I'm going to post it tomorrow or the day afterwards. We'll have to see about that. But oh boy, I'm excited for this, guys. I'm hyped up. Hopefully you guys are too. Oh, crazy.